Speaking of an update, the grounded Boeing 737 MAX is facing issues once again. And this time it's stretching across the Atlantic. Now, European regulators are calling on Boeing engineers to reroute a number of electrical wires in order to avoid possible shortcuts. But Boeing and the Federal Aviation Administration says this is not necessary. However, it could still delay a certification flight for the MAX and eventually when the jet returns to the skies. Meanwhile, European Airbus, jet maker Airbus, is on the path to passing Boeing as the largest commercial aircraft maker, according to the Wall Street Journal. So for more on this, we're joined by former NTSB official Jamie Finch. Jamie, safety is one thing, but I'm sort of feeling like this might have a little bit more political implication as you hear Airbus is now becoming so much the demand in Europe.
Right. Well, this is a very sensitive issue. I mean, obviously, it's going to look like a lot of global politics, but quite honestly, this is a combination of safety concerns and also just a culture of mistrust that's developed between the FAA, Boeing, and the global aviation authorities.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, when you're looking at this, it involves the biggest buyer of Europe,
right.
Ryanair, who said they wanted to carry 200 million passengers by 2024. That goal probably will be delayed by 2 years. Do regulatory agencies really, are they involved as much with the airlines and the airline makers, these airplane makers, as they are here in the United States over in the European Union?
They probably are more so in Europe. I mean, Europe is very regulatory frenzied and so forth. And so, but I really do think that, you know, these safety organizations, these regulators, if you will, their primary purpose is safety. But you know, obviously, there's going to be some concerns of there's some international business politics maybe playing into this, but you know, I think that they're going to be taking into consideration the airlines' needs and wants and so forth, but their primary purpose is safety.
When you say safety, let's compare the record, obviously, of Boeing versus Airbus. This is obviously giving Airbus a lot of a heads up right now.
Right.
Are they basically the same plane with the different, is it kind of like we have our cars, we all drive the same engine, it's
right.
just, you know, the title that's on the outside of it?
Well, they're very different aircraft. They even fly very differently. And pilots that have been trained on one or the other have to go through intense training to fly the opposite plane, because they are very different in how they fly and what senses and skills that you use. But quite honestly, I really don't see that there's a huge difference. But it's.
What about cost-wise? Is there a big difference between the cost, or I mean, it's obviously
usually Airbus is a little bit more expensive.
Right.
Usually they are a little bit more expensive. Usually they also come with a lot of more bells and whistles, if you will, that are standard on the plane.
Okay, so let's talk about the other issues that are keeping the Boeing 737 MAX from being recertified, even here in the United States right now.
Sure.
What are those?
Okay, well, one of the issues is the MCAS issue.
Right.
The issue that
the wiring that we're talking about right now.
The wiring issue. Well, it's the issue that the MCAS problem that brought down the planes in Indonesia and Ethiopia.
Right.
That plane, and also the sensors for angle of attack sensors. Those two combined with that software, that's been a problem. The issue of training. There was a lot of training. The way that Boeing sold this plane was, oh, you don't have to go through, simulator training. You can be trained on a iPad. Mm-hmm. Well, now Boeing's backed off.
I'm about to say, I would back off that one.
They backed off of that. So that's going to, now, whenever this thing's recertified, all these pilots have to go through this training. There's not a lot of these simulators around the world,
right.
And so that's going to delay it. And then there's another software issue that they found that has nothing to do with MCAS. And so this is on top of the wiring issue. It just keeps on piling on top of each other.
Okay, last but not least, you've got Canada has now admitted to allowing grounded MAX jets to fly more than 160 flights across North America since they were grounded. Is there anything wrong with this?
No.
Okay.
They were flying these for storage and other things, but they were not passenger-carrying aircraft. That's very important to know.
But at the same time, when you're still putting a very heavy piece of metal up in the sky, if it's as dangerous to ground them, once again, I have to wonder, you know, a lot of how political this is, because there's still Boeing jets up in the air, and we obviously don't have the issues with them. How political this is, and how do you see a timeline of when this is going to be released?
It's going to be sometime in the summer, if not early fall. Well,
and then once again, it's going to be building the trust even with the EU.
It is. It's not just this, but it's also these other small industries and suppliers. This permeates through the entire economy. The U.S. economy is being slowed down because of this.
Right, and obviously it's like a ripple effect. You have the global economy, which is as well being affected. Thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us.